Go.
Okay, so I've carried on by writing the rest of the main content, the main body of my letter. Using my plan, I've looked at what it was that I wanted to include, and then as I've written, I have added more detail to it. So I'll just read you what I wrote. Every day we do the Joe Wicks workouts online. They are really fun, but definitely exhausting. I have been working from home, which is strange. It's a shame I can't see my class, but at least I can still see the wonderful work they've been doing at home because their parents email it to me. What an unusual time this is. We've been doing a broad range of challenges that have been set by school, including becoming an expert in lasagna making, baking a delicious Easter cake, and creating poignant poetry. We have learnt a lot since this all started. Have you learnt anything new? So now it's time, I'm sort of ready to close my letter. So I'm going to go back to my plan to remember what it was that I was going to write for my closing. And I decided to write all my love, comma. So on my letter, I would normally leave a line and write all my love. But as you can see, I'm running out of space here. I could go onto a new page, but as I've only got 2 more lines, I'll just write it here, because remember, this is just my first draft. All my love, and remember, you must put a comma after your closing, and then you leave a line to do your signature. So I'm going to write Mrs. Jones. So there we have it. I've finished the first draft of my letter. Now I need to check that I've included all of my success criteria. So success criteria 1 was to make sure that I used all of the features of a letter. So let's check. I've got the date, that's the first feature. I've got my greeting, that's the second feature. I've got the main body of my letter, which is the third, telling her what I wanted to tell her and asking what I wanted to ask her. I've got my closing, which is my fourth feature, and my signature, my name, which is my fifth. So yes, I have included all of the features. The second success criteria was to include some adventurous vocabulary. So I'm going to look through and see if I've included some challenging words. I've got the word delightful, which is a good word to use instead of saying nice or lovely. I've thought of a bit more of a challenging word there. I've used the word regularly, which means often. So that's a challenging word. I've used exhausting instead of tiring. I've used the word poignant, which means if something's poignant, it really makes you feel something. So that's definitely a challenging word. So yes, I think I have included adventurous vocabulary. And my third success criteria was to include questions and exclamations. So I've definitely got questions. I've asked her, how are you? I've asked her, how have you been filling your time? And I've asked her, have you learnt anything new? So yes, I've included 3 questions, and you can see that I have definitely put my question marks in. I've also included exclamations. I've said that they're really fun, but definitely exhausting. So I'm putting some more sort of expression into that sentence. So I've used an exclamation mark. But I've also included an exclamation sentence by saying, what an unusual time this is. If you think back to our exclamation sentences where we learnt how to use what or how, so how awful or how amazing or what an unusual time this is, that's an exclamation sentence, so it needs an exclamation mark. So I've definitely achieved all of my success criteria. This is my first draft. I'm really, really pleased with it. And tomorrow I'm going to have a look at editing and revising it to make it even better. Please don't worry if you need to put a neat line through something. I realised that I'd written the when it should have been a. So I put a neat line through it just to write the correction next to it. That's absolutely fine. Remember, it is a first draft. This isn't a letter that's going to be sent off. So if you do need to put a neat line through something to correct something, that's absolutely fine. Okay, good luck, dragonflies and butterflies. I hope your letter writing goes really well.